Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is a live recording of a 50-minute full body flexibility practice. I just used my bolster a little bit today. Some space to move is always good too. And let's get started. And we will start laying down, of course. Happy Friday. Just like that, another week gone. Let's slow down a little bit today. So if you want to come and lay down, if you haven't already, maybe walking your feet a little closer towards your hips. Maybe you want to keep your knees together for a bit. Maybe you want to make a diamond shape with your legs. With your arms out to the sides, maybe letting your palms turn to face up. You could give your fingers and your toes a little bit of a wiggle. And maybe any other small movements that you feel like you need to make. And then start to slow down a bit more. Maybe you no longer need to wiggle your fingers or your toes or scratch your nose. So let your body be still. Just notice how you're feeling today. Through your legs, your back, your arms, anywhere else. Feeling the next breath you take. Maybe it can be a little bit slower and a little bit deeper. Feel your belly trying to expand as you fill up with air. Let it go. Maybe doing that again. A nice slow, deep breath in. And out. Do that one more time if you'd like. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Staying just like this for a few moments. Allow yourself to let go of your day, your week. Now we're going to stay just a little bit longer here. But if you do want to move your legs, you might bring the knees together and the feet out a little wider, letting the knees tip towards the middle, maybe turning the toes to point in slightly. If you want to stay on your pillow, you can, but you could also take it out. And then if you wanted to move your arms as well, you might reach them above your head more. Take a stretch through the upper body. You've got your arms reaching above your head. Take just another inhale with them there, and then letting an exhale help you slide them back down to your sides, maybe a little closer than they were before. And if your knees are together or out wide still, you might just kind of open things up a little. Bring your feet about hip width apart so your knees can be about hip width apart. You might take a gentle sway through the knees. You might still be on your pillow. We will be taking it out and laying flat on our backs. We're also going to be going into a twist in a moment. So if you do want to have your pillow just to the left side of you, you can move it there. But lay flat on your back for sure. Either keep your feet down or hug your knees in towards your chest. And if you want to add a gentle rock side to side, add that in. But just feel your back pressing into the ground beneath you. And for our twist today, you can keep both of your knees bent. Let both of your legs tip to the left side. Or you can send your left leg long, right leg bent, and maybe you've got a pillow that you want to rest your legs on, or just your right leg as you turn your hips and adjust your shoulders so they both stay down. You might even be turning your chin over to the right side too. Maybe a little bit of a neck stretch. And just finding your breath once you have set up your twist. Now, if you've got your chin turning over to the right side a little bit, you slowly roll your head back up. And then we're going to roll onto our left side, all the way onto our left side. So you might lift up and rest your head in your hands. We're just going to move into a quad stretch with our right leg. So you might start to reach for your foot. Give your heel, your foot, a little hug towards your hip, towards your glutes. Maybe you can even give your legs, your knees a little bit of a squeeze together. And if your left leg, your bottom leg's still out pretty long, might feel a little bit of balancing here. You can always bend that leg if that helps. Now, if you have your foot right now, I want you to slowly let it go. We're going to roll onto our backs again as gracefully as we can. If you're using a pillow for your twist today, you might be bringing it to the other side. But lay flat on your back for a moment. If you want to hug your knees in, you can do that too. Or just keep your feet down. Just take a moment before switching sides and then decide, what did you do on the other side? Maybe your twist can look similar on this side too. both of your legs falling to the right side, or maybe it's just the left one. Right leg going out long and left leg tipping over and maybe resting on your pillow. But adjust your shoulders. Maybe your chin is turning to the left side too. Once you are in your twist, you start to notice your breath again. Feel your belly moving a little bit with your breath. Your chin is tipping to the left side a little bit. Just bring it back up. We start to turn over, roll over onto our right side. Maybe lifting up to rest your head in your hands. Maybe starting to reach back for your foot. Give it a hug towards your glutes. And slowly, slowly start to let your leg go. We can roll onto our backs again. One more chance to maybe sway the knees side to side or hug your knees in towards your chest. Feel your back pressing into the ground beneath you. And you can decide if you're gonna rock yourself forwards or roll over, but we're gonna come up into tabletop to our hands and knees. So come on over. Spread your fingers out a little bit wider. Maybe give your hips a bit of a sway side to side. We're going to extend our right leg back behind us. Tuck your toes, push into the ball of your foot. Feel your calf, your ankle. Now, a few options we're going to go through. So if you want to stay here or anywhere else at any time, feel free to do so. But our right leg straight out behind us right now, it can stay there, or you can move it to the left side behind you, push into the ball of the foot, send your hips towards the right side a little bit. And you can stay here as well with your right leg on the straighter side of things, or you can start to bend the knee. Maybe it's going to touch the top of your left calf. Maybe it can touch the floor to the outside of the left calf, kind of crossing the legs for a moment. And if you did lower your knee down, we're going to lift it back up again. Then you might be bringing your left foot back behind you. Now we can stay here a little longer, or you can bring your right knee back in and give your knees a little bit of a squeeze together. Bring your legs close together. And then we're just going to try to cross the right one behind the left, the right knee behind the left knee again. So now our legs are a little closer together, so it might be a little bit nicer to cross, but maybe you need to keep your legs straight still. But if you can kind of squeeze everything together and get your right knee to touch the ground, maybe try to squeeze your legs together too, your feet, your lower legs a little bit together. You might feel your hips a little bit or a lot. Okay, now we're going to bring some space between the feet. So if you can kind of slide your feet out wider, wide, 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 scooching the inner legs together, the knees together as much as they can be. And then instead of sending our hips back anymore, we're on our hands right now, just if you want to. You could try to lower your forearms down. You could lower your chest down, keeping your hips on the high side of things. And we are almost done on this side. Just relax through the hips a little bit more. If you did come down onto your forearms or lower than that, you can start to come back up onto your hands. And now if you've got your feet out nice and wide, you might try to snug things back up. Bring the feet as close together as you can. A little squeeze of the inner thighs together. And then slowly uncrossing your legs. So bring your knees about hip width apart back into your tabletop. Take a sway through the hips. You might even want to lift up into a downward dog here, or maybe just stay in tabletop. Give the legs a little bit of a shake. We are just going to be switching sides though, and we're going to start right at the beginning. So from our tabletop, knees hip width apart to start. Maybe a little sway of the hips. Left leg going back. Tuck the toes, push into the ball of your foot. Send your legs straight out behind you. Remember, you can stay here. If you do want to bring your foot to the right side though, behind you to the right, bring it on over, keeping the legs straight, pushing into the ball of the foot, and maybe try to send the hips to the left a little. You might keep your legs straight, your left one. You might start to bend the knee a little bit. See how close you can get it towards the floor on the outside of your right leg. A little cross of the legs. And if you did bring your knee down, you can start to lift it up again. Push into the ball of your foot a little bit more. And then you can start to bring your leg back behind you if you'd like. Straight up behind you again. And then if you're going to be crossing your legs again with me, you can start to bring your left knee back into your tabletop. Bring your legs as close together as they will go. And then start to lift and cross your left leg up and behind the right one again. See how snug you can get the inner legs, how close you can get your left knee to the ground, and then try to zip the legs together. Squeeze them a little bit together, the feet, the lower legs, from the knees down to the toes. And then you might start to create some space between your feet. Bring your feet out as wide as they will go. Keep scooching the inner legs and the knees together though. Let your feet go out wide. Stay here for a moment. You could drop onto your forearms or lower than that. Keeping the hips lifted. If you are anywhere but on your hands, you might start to come back up. Bring your feet back together as close as they can go. The legs, a little bit of a squeeze. And then you can start to lift your left leg back up. Bring it side by side to the right one back into your tabletop. Bring your knees hip width apart again. Maybe giving your hips a sway. If you wanted to lift up into downward dog for a moment, you can do that as well. Just pedal it out. Shake it out. We are going to meet back and in our tabletop. If you want to come off of your hands for a moment and maybe take some wrist circles, make some fists. Take a couple circles in one direction and then the other direction. And then back in our tabletop when you're ready for that. Our right arm will reach out in front of us. Palm facing down, fingers, spread them out wide. Let's keep our left hand beside us for support. If you want your pillow under your head or your chest, you could add it in. But our half puppy dog, hips high, chest and head are gonna get heavy, gonna get low. Feeling your right arm and shoulder. If your head does come down close enough to the ground where maybe the right cheek can touch, rest. You might feel some love through the neck. Stay for just another breath on this side. Let an inhale and a big push into your left hand help you lift up. Kind of move your hands back under your shoulders. Maybe a sway here. Just notice how your right arm and shoulder feels. And when you're ready to switch sides, our left arm's going to reach forward. So palm down, maybe spread your fingers wide. Create as much length for your left arm as you can. Take the bend of the elbow as much as you can. Your right hand beside you for support to help you lower slowly. Hips high, chest can start to melt down. Maybe the forehead, maybe the left cheek this time. Take just one more breath here. Let a big inhale help you lift back up, back into your tabletop, or maybe you want to just sit back on your heels for a moment. Shoulder roll might feel nice. We will be making our way onto our tummies next. So you can start to come onto your tummy when you're ready. Once you're there, just take a second. Maybe stack your palms, rest your forehead. You could take a sway of your hips. Now we're going to be lifting our chest up a few times, few different hand and arm placements that you can choose from. We will start in Sphinx though, so you can come onto your forearms first. Tuck your elbows underneath your shoulder. Let your palms face down. Maybe spread your fingers out wide. Give your glutes a little bit of a squeeze. Push your hips down. Gently drop your shoulders from your ears. Soften through your forehead. You're going to lift up and down a couple times. If you want to stay here and stay lifted, you can. If you want to lower back down and then go back to your forearms, your sphinx, you can do that too. Just a little sway of the hips. Relax through the back for a moment, the legs, the glutes. And then our next one will be seal. If you want to go further, just set up your sphinx first, elbows under the shoulders. Hands out a little wider though, palms down, fingers could still be spread out wide. So a seal. You can lift your elbows up, start to squeeze your glutes, push your hips down, drop the shoulders, relax your face. Find your breath. Take another inhale, and then you can lower back down again. Relax, a little sway through the hips if you'd like, or be still. Feel free to do any of those first two, the sphinx or the seal. Again. Maybe you want to skip the third set. We're doing 4. So we're going to move our hands maybe out even wider. So you can come back onto your forearms to start. So we had our elbows under our shoulders for sphinx and for seal. But now we're going to take our elbows out wider, and maybe we can be on our fingertips, maybe just off of your mats. Maybe you don't want to do this. Same thing though, squeeze the glutes, push the hips down, drop the shoulders. Might be feeling a little bit more heavy on the fingertips with the hands out wider. Take just another inhale. And as you exhale, slowly start to bring your chest down, bring your hands in under your forehead. Maybe take a little bit of a sway of the hips. So for our 4th and final chest lift, these are more of cobra variations, these last 2. So you can come back onto your forearms to start again. Sphinx, seal, the wide cobra, or now let's reach our arms, our hands straight out in front of our shoulders, be on the fingertips, and you might be feeling nice and heavy through the upper body. So start to squeeze the glutes, push the hips down, drop the shoulders, a little push into the fingertips, but we're all relaxing our faces and working our back. And you're going to take just another inhale. And as you exhale, you can relax completely. Move your hands back underneath your forehead. Maybe sway your hips a little bit side to side. And we're going to start to just move our left arm out to the side. Straight out and in line with our shoulder, palm down, maybe fingers spreading out wide. Start to roll onto your left side. You might take your right foot and slide it a little further behind you, just trying to turn the hips a little more to maybe feel a twist through your back a little bit more. With just another breath here. And then you can come back over and onto your belly. You can move your left arm in. Feel free to take a moment, or we can switch sides. Right arm out, palm down, fingers spread wide maybe. Arm in line with your shoulder. Start to roll onto your right side if you would like, and maybe taking your left foot behind you a little more, a little more. Trying to turn the hips. Feel a bit more of a twist. And then slowly coming back over and onto your belly again. Just moving your hands underneath your forehead if you would like. Take a sway through the hips if you want to. And then when you're ready to push yourself back up and onto your knees, bring your hands under your shoulders. Push on up into tabletop. Maybe a gentle sway of the hips side to side from here. We are going to come to seated from our tabletop. So if you want to cross your ankles, if you want to sit cross-legged, any comfortable seat would be fine. We can place our hands on our knees, maybe. Bring some length into the spine. Feel free to close your eyes or just look down. We're going to start to turn our chest over towards the right side. Maybe moving your hands, one in front of you, one behind you. Maybe your left hand can come all the way to your right knee. And with the next inhale you take, just start to turn back to face forwards. If you're crossing your legs, you can cross them the other way. Change how you're sitting if you'd like, just to even things out, but lengthen through the spine again. Soften the shoulders, and then you can slowly start to turn your chest to the left. Maybe moving your hands, one in front, one behind, or maybe going all the way and holding your knee. The next inhale you take can bring you back so that you're facing forwards. If you want to uncross your legs, maybe give your knees a little bit of a hug or a squeeze. Maybe you rock side to side. You have three options for where we go from here. Butterfly, diamond shape, maybe tipping forwards. You could do a nice forward fold, legs out long or bent, but straight out in front of you, maybe together, folding forwards. Or if you want to come into a wide straddle with me, bring your feet out nice and wide. Maybe you want your pillow close by. Lengthen the spine wherever you happen to be. Stretch through your legs, whether you're in butterfly, forward fold, straddle. And maybe as you start to look down in front of you, the chest might get a little bit heavier. allowing your shoulders to fall from your ears. Just find your breath for a few moments here. Maybe we'll take just another breath or two. You're folding forwards. You can use an inhale to slowly lift again. Your hands might come to your legs, your knees somewhere, helping them come back together. Give them a squeeze, maybe a rock. And we'll be laying down again on our backs. And once you get there, you might hug your knees. You might just keep your feet on the ground. Maybe a little sway side to side to further massage the back a little bit. Going to be moving into figure 4 from here. So if you want your feet to come down, if they're lifted, let's cross the right foot over top of the left quad to start. Your left foot can stay down as always, or it can lift up and into the air. Maybe you can hold on to the left leg somewhere. Hug the legs a little bit towards the chest. Now we're going to stay here just a little bit longer. But if you do want to bring your left foot down, if it's lifted, and then maybe trying to cross your legs more. Little squeeze of the inner legs together, trying to get the knees as close together as you can get them. And then you can keep your left foot on the ground, or you could lift it back up again. And maybe you kind of need to adjust a little bit if that foot does float, but our inner legs getting a little closer, our knees a little closer. And then if you could hug your legs again, you might have to lift your head and your shoulders to reach for the back of the legs. And then you might be here. You might be trying to hold your feet just to bring them out wider. Same thing though, inner legs together, knees together, and maybe the feet are going out a touch wider with some help of your hands. Now let's take just another breath wherever you happen to be with your legs. Bring the left foot down if it's lifted. Uncross the legs when you're ready. Maybe take a little bit of a sway, shake it out a little bit. And we'll start with just a nice simple figure four. Left foot over top of the right quad. Right foot can stay on the ground the whole time. It can lift. You might hold your legs. But just take a moment here. How does this side feel compared to the other side? The left leg compared to the right leg? You did want to adjust your legs. You might be dropping the right foot down and crossing the legs a little bit more, as much as they want to cross. Maybe your right foot stays on the ground now. Maybe it does. Lift back up. If you can hold your legs a little bit, might make them feel a little less heavy. And maybe trying to reach for the feet, bringing the feet out a little wider too. We can slowly take another breath, and then eventually bringing the right foot down if it's lifted, and then uncrossing the legs. Sway of the knees might feel good. You might want to be still. And as you bring your legs out long, bring our feet out nice and wide today. Off of your mats, maybe even wider than that. Wiggle your toes. Maybe even kind of shimmy the hips a little bit, kind of shake it out. And you can decide where you would like to place your arms. For Shavasana, maybe out nice and wide as well, similar to your legs, your feet. Maybe you can start to let go of any movements. Find some stillness. Feel your body heavy against the ground. And slowly start to move. Maybe your fingers and your toes again. Maybe a little rock through the hips. And if you want to reach your arms above your head, take a nice big stretch. And eventually bending your knees and rolling over. You can find your way up to a comfy seat when you'd like. Maybe bringing your hands together. Ah, awesome practice, you guys. Have a really lovely weekend. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.